Welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular episode, I'd like to talk about a couple rulings that federal justices have made within the last couple days that both rule against the policies and the attempts of the policies that Trump is trying to do. The first is DACA. Okay. Basically, a judge ruled that it was arbitrary and capricious for Trump to end the DACA and ordered the reinstatement of the DACA program. Now, the judge gave 20 days in which for the government to appeal, but just so you know, this was a fairly big blow to the Trump agenda of limiting the immigrants from coming in and staying in the United States. But the term arbitrary and capricious to be used in such an opinion essentially is saying there was no valid reason for the president to end the program, that he can't just do it off the cuff without any reason whatsoever, and that's essentially what he did. And so, clearly this case will be appealed. They're not going to just let it sit, and ultimately it'll probably end up at the U.S. Supreme Court, because as we speak right now, there's certain cases in Texas by various governors that are trying to get an order to completely end the program. So there'll be differing decisions on the matter, and it will ultimately be the decision of the U.S. Supreme Court as to whether Trump exceeded his executive authority in ending the DACA program. But as of now, it has been or will be restored. Now, the other issue, the other ruling that came out, if you recall, there was the fiasco with the family separation and everything involved with that, where they would take the kids and separate them from the parents in an attempt, policy attempt, to dissuade persons who are coming from the, Central America and people who are essentially applying for asylum to come to the United States. And they thought if they would separate the families, that in fact it would decrease those amounts, which ended up not happening. However, the as you might know, just over a month ago, a federal judge ordered that the families need to be put back together, that they can't separate the little children from their parents, and that's not a valid policy in which to put forth by Trump. So after a month, it turns out that the government complied with about 1,400 of the cases, but 500, they made some excuses. They basically said either they can't find the parents have been deported, that the parents are ineligible, whatever it is. They essentially try to get out of the obligation to put all of those families together, thinking that, they got 1,400, so the other 500, it's okay. Well, the judge put an end to that and said that the government cannot pass the buck to someone else or make some other kinds of excuses as to why they are still separated. So the court decision put squarely on the government's shoulders the necessity to find and do what's necessary to get the families put back together and to go from there. And as I've stated before, the policy of doing that just isn't working, even if it didn't have all the court orders against it and the backlash against it. The reality is that these people have such claims for asylum, and the law allows it. So as long as the Immigration and Nationality Act allows the people to come in and apply, and as long as that hasn't been repealed and then signed by the president, which it neither has been done, then it will proceed forward in a legal, humanized manner. Okay, so if you like the video, click like, subscribe. This week was essentially just an update on the decisions. And if you need a consultation, give my office a call. I'll be happy to help you out. More coming next week. Thank you.